sermon's topic is entitled Fasting or True Fasting. Our text is taken from the book of Isaiah, chapter 58, 1 to 11. I am not here this morning to tell you to fast. Our text is very plain. I am here to remind you of the type of fast that God has ordained. Apparently, from time to time, God has to remind his people of the kind of fast he requires. For instance, in our scripture reading, we see Isaiah preaching to the Israelites. It would seem that they were hard of hearing because God had to tell the prophet to cry aloud, "Spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins." I quote from the King James Version. At times, it sounds very poetic. I need to remind you that the Israelites are the chosen people who the Lord uses to instruct other nations how to live. But it would seem by the way the prophet is shouting, they had forgotten. It is a sad thing when the people of God forget. When we do, there is defeat, chaos, oppression, wickedness, bondage, weakness, sickness, death, destruction, hunger, and a host of other spiritual, social, political, and medical problems. The children of Israel were fasting without results, so they decided to question God. "Why have we fasted?" they say, "and you have not seen it? Why have we humbled ourselves, and you have not noticed?" That is from the NIV, the New International Version. There is a saying in my country, "Monkey does not see the length of his tail." Instead, the children of Israel checked themselves. They were checking on God to see if he is asleep. Brethren, spiritual blindness is the worst form of blindness. Jesus spoke about that. He said, "Remove the plank in your eye before you can see the speck of dust in another's eye." One thing I love about the Lord, he is always true to his word. He said that we should ask and he will answer. Sometimes we do not like his answers or the way he answers. At times it is by fire, at times by water. We see an example of that this week. Sometimes by earthquake. My God, we have had a few. Sometimes by personal tragedy. Sometimes by a still small voice. Nevertheless, he answers. In this instance, he answered through the prophet with a loud voice. The problem was sin in the camp. They were fasting, but life was going on as usual. No abstinence from sexual pleasure, no abstinence from exploiting workers, from quarreling and strife, from making confusion, especially in the church, from sowing discord among brethren. But observe the things that they were abstaining from: feeding the hungry and clothing the naked, seeing about the poor and needy. One thing they were not abstaining from is seeing about themselves and their family. When your focus is only on selfishness, brethren, believe me, you have lost your focus. Hear your excuse: "Minister Map, the Lord is not finished with me yet." Sometimes I wonder if he ever did start. Today is the beginning of our 40-day fast. For those of us who will be fasting, I mention this because not all of us can for some reason or the other, whether medical or otherwise. If you are not sure, check with your care provider. We must be wise. Let us approach the fast the way God has ordained. Firstly, we must have a reason to fast. This is a public fast, so obviously we will focus on a number of things pertaining to international, national, local, and community affairs. We must fast for revival in our personal lives and that of our church. Attention must be paid to the lost souls, not only in Africa, but in our homes, our jobs, the neighbor next door, in our schools, persons struggling with addictions, including ourselves. There are all types of addictions: food, overspending, Facebook, internet pornography, etc. You choose your own. Thank you.